to the specifics of today's meeting, I'd just like to give you a brief introduction as to what the Finance Commission does. So we are the 16th Finance Commission. This was set up by a presidential order, and it started its work early 2024. And the Finance Commission has to give its report by 31st October 2025. And the recommendations cover the next 5 years, starting from 1st April 2026. So when I talk about the recommendations of the Finance Commission, very broadly speaking, the main task of the Finance Commission is to make recommendations as to how the union tax revenues are going to be divided between the center and the state. So this is called the vertical devolution. And thereafter, whatever is the state share, that has to be divided between the 28 states. That's called the horizontal devolution. So before that, so the way the tax system works is in India is both center and state collect taxes. So the state collects some taxes which they can use on their own, but center, by virtue of the constitution, collects more taxes: income tax, corporation tax, wealth tax, central CST, and also they have more amounts. So this amount is put in what we call a common divisible pool, and this is the divisible pool which has to be divided between the states and the center. So the 15th Finance Commission had recommended that 41% of the divisible pool should go to the state governments, and the rest of the 59 will remain in the center. So this is one part of the Finance Commission work, which is the recommendations for the vertical devolution and the horizontal devolution. Then apart from that, we also recommend some grants. So there are grants to local bodies, both rural and urban local bodies. There are state-specific grants. There are sector-specific grants like health, education, whichever the Finance Commission feels. Then you have revenue deficit grants, which may be given to a few states. And lastly, grants for disaster management. Disaster management is also separately a term of reference for the Finance Commission because of the focus on disaster management. So in making the report, the Finance Commission has very wide and comprehensive consultations. We go to all the states. So we visit each and every state. And when we go to the state, we meet, apart from the state government, the chief minister with his or her team. We also meet the rural, the urban local bodies, the rural local body representatives. We also meet the representatives of the trade and industry. We meet political parties. So the whole idea is to get a general idea about the state. And we also, the Finance Commission in its consultations also has met a lot of academia, economists and all. We've had regional conferences. We've had 5 regional conferences all over India, taking care of the north, south, east, west and center. Apart from that, we meet the central government, we meet ministries. And lastly, but not least, any citizen of India can send their suggestions to our web portal. And we have a team which looks into all the suggestions. So one is not sure whether the suggestions will be taken, but definitely the assurance is they will be read and considered. So that is by way of what the Finance Commission does before we write a report. Now coming to specifics about today, I think our day started early morning. I mean at 10 o'clock we had a long meeting which has just got over. We had a meeting with the Chief Minister, then the Deputy Chief Minister and the Chief Minister made some inaugural comments, and then the Chief Secretary, the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister made some inaugural comments, and then the Finance Commissioner made a very detailed presentation, very comprehensive presentation, which went for almost, I think 2 hours or something. It covered all aspects of governance in Arunachal Pradesh, the fiscal position, the different sectors, everything was put in that presentation. And thereafter they made what we call the demand. They give a memorandum to the Finance Commission where what is the demand of the state. So when I was telling you about the vertical devolution, so the 15th Finance Commission had suggested 41%. So the Arunachal Pradesh state government has asked for an increase, raise it to 47%. So for vertical devolution, they have said from the earlier 41%, which the 15th Finance Commission had suggested, they have suggested an increase to 47%. This they have sought for getting a fairer and more balanced allocation for all the states. Then for the horizontal devolution, Arunachal Pradesh. So Arunachal Pradesh has been consistently getting an increasing horizontal devolution rate. I think from the 11th FC, when it was 0.244 percentage, 15th FC made it 1.757. So it has been very steadily increasing. So this time the Arunachal Pradesh government has said because of the unique needs and all, they want more money. So they have aimed for a 3% from 1.5, and there is some calculations they have done, which so there is a criteria for the horizontal devolution. As I said, the horizontal devolution is for all the 28 states. So you have to have some criteria which works for every state. So the 15th Finance Commission had given a criteria. 45% was the income distance, 15% was area, 15% was population, 12.5 was demographic performance, 10% was forest and ecology, and 2.5 was tax and fiscal efforts. So this totals up to 100%. So based on this, like income distance is the, so each parameter has some criteria, and according to which each state is marked, and that is how you get that final percentage, which I said Arunachal had 1.757%. Now, Arunachal Pradesh has requested for some changes. So, for the income distance, area population, they have agreed 45%, 15%, 15%. But forest and ecology was 10% earlier. Now they have asked for 12.5%. So this they have said, so that is a plus 2.5% they have asked. They have considered Arunachal Pradesh's unique position, so they have talked about, so earlier the criteria was called forest and ecology. Now Arunachal Pradesh has said forest cover and carbon sink. So they have brought in the carbon sequestration attempts, and they have said Arunachal will play a very important role in India's position. We are thinking of getting into zero emissions by 2070, and after the Paris deal, there's been some agreement. So they feel Arunachal plays a very important role in that. It has a huge forest cover next to Madhya Pradesh. It's the second highest forest cover. Then, so basically, what they're saying is this carbon sink aspect has to be brought in, and that is why they've added this 2.5%. So the 2.5%, which was for tax and fiscal deficit, they have removed, and they've said added to the forest cover. So that is one aspect. And the second part is demographic performance, which was earlier 12.5. So demographic performance, earlier the commission used to use 2011 population data while making the recommendations, and this demographic performance is used to reward efforts of states which are controlling the population. States with lower fertility rates score high on this criteria. So here Arunachal has suggested something they've just changed. They called it demographic change. They've talked about preservation of tribal people, culture and heritage. So this is again a very new concept which they have raised. They have talked about you have 26 tribes and more than 100 sub-tribes, and there is a bit of danger in the practices and the way you live and everything getting maybe vanishing. So there is a need to preserve this tribal. So they have given this as a request. Now, this is what they have asked us from the Finance Commission. This is the vertical and horizontal. Apart from that, they have also asked for a lot of other grants. Like you must be knowing there's central funding, there's centrally sponsored schemes, So normally it's 60-40 or 70-30. And for northeastern states, it's 90 and 10. So Arunachal Pradesh has said that we want 100% central funding, whereas we don't have to give that 10% also. So that is again something which Arunachal has asked for. They have So they have asked this. So the special category status has gone. So they've asked us to restore this. Then 100% central funding for CSS. Then another point which I think the Chief Minister and almost all the secretaries raised was that the rates and schemes to be tailored, taking into account the special needs and challenges for hilly and northeastern states. So this is something they said that in the mainland. So whenever they have asked that the schemes and the order should be tailored to the problems which Northeast faces. Like you have a very short window for construction, you have a weather problem, it's very expensive. Construction is very expensive, so you can't have a one size fit all. So they have asked for that also. Then they have asked us for a special package to compensate the exclusion for externally aided projects. And they have asked, so there are quite a few schemes like this. And finally, to end up, I'll just tell you the amount they have asked. They have asked for a total package of 6.89 lakhs. Financing of disaster management, they have asked for 5,000 crores. Grants to local bodies, they've asked for 36,976 crores. Augmentation of state resources, forest issues and sustainable development, 10,227 crores. Special problems and specific needs of the state, 55,558 crores. Special package under state specific grants is 5,81,000 crores. So a total of 6.89. So this is the package Arunachal Pradesh has asked for. As I said, we have been visiting all states, and every state has asked us for, every state has made their demands. And now when we go back, when we finish our state, so this is our 21st state, this is our 22nd state, we have another 6 more to go, after which we'll decide on what has to be done. So that's a brief introduction of, and so we met the state government, and afternoon we are going to be meeting the representatives of the RLBs and the ULBs, the trade industry and the political parties. And we will be doing some field visits also.